Welcome to the Two Guys in a Cooler channel. My name is Eric, and today we're going to be making Calabrese Salami, that nice and spicy salami. I'm going to take you through step by step on how we make it, and the recipe will be posted below. The first thing I like to do is separate my lean from my fat. So I'm using pernil, and I'm going to go ahead and separate my silver skin, get rid of any veins, arteries, blood clots. If you're using Boston butt, then generally Boston butt's a good 70-30 ratioed meat, and that's exactly what we're looking for. 70% lean, 30% fat. And so because I have pernil and I've separated my lean, I'm now going to go ahead and weigh out my fat. And in this case, I think I'm only making a small, tiny batch, maybe 10 pounds. I'm going to grind that. Now, the meat is chilled. I do not want this meat to be warmed up. It's at about 38, 39 degrees. And I'm going to grind my fat and my meat together on a 10 millimeter plate. So now it's time to get our starter culture prepared. Now, generally, you want to do this about 30 minutes before you use it. And for every 5 pounds of meat, you want to add 2 tablespoons of water. I'm in the process of finishing up another video on the different types of starter cultures and the benefits of each one of them and what they do for salami. So if you haven't subscribed, click that subscribe button, that notification bell, give me a thumbs up, and stay tuned for that video. Now we're going to add our penicillium nalgiavensis. This is the white mold that typically you'll see growing on the outside of salami. This actually does a whole lot for your salami. It helps with the pH, it helps with the drying, it helps with the flavor. It's a really great benefit. And now we get to the most important part about the Calabrese salami. It's the Calabrese peppers. Now you could technically use cayenne, you could use red pepper flakes, but if you want this to be an authentic Calabrese salami, you really want to get your hands on these peppers. They add a certain spiciness, smokiness that you just can't really get from other regular peppers. I'll put a link below where to get them, but like I said, you could substitute it if you are in a pinch. Now this is what we're looking at. We have our spice profile, we have our starter culture. We need to go ahead and sanitize our mixing bowls and get that up and running. I use iodophor because it's just a heck of an iodine cleaner. You just spray it on, you leave it there, 2 minutes later, it's done. These are the casings that we're going to be using. So I'm going to be using a couple different variety of casings. I've got some really thick ones. I've got some fairly thin ones. I think I'm using some 61 millimeter. I think these are going to be like 80 plus millimeter. I'm just trying a couple different things out. These beauties came from the sausage maker, and the links are going to be below as to where you can get your hands on these casings. And I really like these casings. Actually, they have an entire line of casings that I use because just different sizes, and depending on the kind of mood you're in, the kind of salami you're making or sausage that you're making. So definitely check out the sausage maker for their sausage making supplies. I let those casings soak for about 30 minutes or so, not even that long, in some lukewarm water, and then I took them out of the water. And so now in my stand mixer, so you can use a KitchenAid, you could use your hands, you can use a commercial mixer. I'm going to add my seasonings. I'm going to add my starter culture. So you want to make sure that you incorporate it slowly into the entire mixture. And so what I'm doing is I'm just putting it in a little bit at a time. And then finally, I'm going to add just a touch of red wine, just roughly about a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to mix it. Now, the process of mixing it is absolutely critical because you want to make sure that the meat is properly bound together. And doing this by incorporating the salts and the seasonings sometimes takes a long time. If you're using a mixer, then you can generally get it done between 6 to 10 minutes. If you're using your hands, it's going to take roughly 15 to 30 minutes. So it really depends on how well you're doing it. But your hands generally are going to hurt because your meat should be really cold. And the texture of your meat should be really tacky. You'll notice that when you pull a chunk of it off, it'll look as if it has fibrous hairs kind of coming from it. And so once you achieve that, you're good to move on to the next step. But you definitely don't want to undermix it because then you'll have a salami that's not properly bound together, and you definitely don't want that. So what we're doing now is we're going to go ahead and stuff this into our sausage stuffer. We're using a 25-pound motorized sausage stuffer from the sausage maker. This is a brand new unit, and you're watching me use it for the first time with this Calabrese salami. So let's check it out. Okay, I am officially blown away. This unit's absolutely incredible. Completely operated by a foot pedal, mechanical, variable speed control. It's got regulators and sensors. This makes making salami a one-man job, super fast and super efficient. If you want to see a video about that unit, leave me a comment in the comment section below because it really deserves its own video. And I can't wait to make it. So we're going to go ahead and tie off this Calabrese salami, and I'm going to push out the rest of that force meat that's in the tube and just save a little bit of it. Now, I don't want to use all of it, so whatever is extra, I'm going to go ahead and stuff that inside of a casing. But that little bit of force meat right there, I'm going to wrap it in cellophane, and then I'm just going to set that to the side because we're going to use that little pile to test the pH after about 24 hours of fermenting, once that starter culture has had an opportunity to really do its thing inside the salami. Now, once we've done that, we've got it cased up. We want to go ahead and write down our green weight. That's the actual weight of our salami. We want to also write down our target weight. So for me, I'm looking for about a 38 to 40% weight loss. And then after writing it down, I'm going to go ahead and securely fasten it on the salami so that it's all there, ready to go. When I weigh it, I've got my numbers. I'm going to take my sterilized sausage pricker. I'm going to prick that sausage and make sure there's no air pockets. And then finally, we're going to use that penicillium nalgiavensis that we prepared earlier, and we're going to go ahead and brush it over all of the salamis. But I'm going to show you a cool trick here at the end of the video that's going to give your salamis a nice boost when it comes to that mold coverage all over the outside. So now it's time to ferment. Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be putting it in roughly 66 to 68 degree refrigerator with a really high humidity, 80 to 88% humidity, and I'm going to leave it in there for about 24 hours to 30 hours. The two units that I use in this particular fermentation fridge to control the temperature and the humidity are from Inkbird. There's better units out there. Auber makes an exceptional unit. I use an Auber in my other chamber, but I'll put a link for both in the description box below. This unit is for controlling the temperature. This unit is for controlling the humidity. Now, the unit on the left is going to basically turn the refrigerator on and off. The unit on the right, that blue one, is going to turn the humidifier and the dehumidifier on and off, depending on the preset values. And that's it. It's a pretty simple system. All right, now it's time to check the pH. 24 hours later, I like to check it at 24 hours just to kind of see where I'm at. Right now, I'm calibrating my pH meter. I'm using one from Hannah. Milwaukee makes one. There's all kinds of ones, but you definitely need something to check the pH if you want a reliable, consistent product. And I'm looking for anything over 5.0 and below 5.3. And as you can see, after 24 hours, I'm already there. So I'm going to move it to my drying chamber. Check out this little trick. If you have a drying chamber that's already full of the penicillium nalgiavensis mold, you technically don't need to add it because that flora is going to be everywhere. It's going to get all over the place. So what I like to do is just give it a little pat when I put the new product in there, and you're going to see what happens roughly after about 24 hours of that new salami being in there. So check this out. That's our spicy and fennel copa. Both of those, I believe, are ready this week. That's the pancetta. That's ready this week. And we've got that Genoa. Remember that video we made not too long ago? That's ready also this week. And so we've got a lot of product that's about to be ready. So be sure you stick around. Subscribe if you're not already, because we're about to do the reveal on all of those. And I wanted to give you a little peek. This was 24 hours after I put my salami in there. And there's the Calabrese salami. Look at the mold. It is growing absolutely beautiful. It's incredibly fast and really aid in the drying process. That one on the right that you just took a peek at, I haven't posted that video yet, but that is black garlic salami. And that is how you make Calabrese salami. Thanks a lot for watching this video. Stick around. We got a lot of really great stuff coming up. And if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing because we post videos every week on all sorts of really fun and amazing things. Check out the sausage maker. I'm going to put a link below. Maybe there's a coupon code that you can apply to your next purchase. Thanks for sticking around to the end. We'll see you in the next video.